It was started during the pandemic where it was completely dark for us to see the future because back then everything was restricted. It makes me think to why don't I move the stage to the screen? So yeah, I work with my friends and then I work with the Jatilan dancers in Imogiri. Normally the performance being held in the kampung or before someone has any celebration or when the village celebrates something. In that sense, we try to really work on and to really invest our workshop in the process of making and discussion, and in the end to move it to the screen. What interests me from the Jatilan trance dancer is the aspect where during this whole rituals, during this whole performance, there is this aspect of getting trance. There is this aspect where the dancer could move beyond the limitation of language and order. And people believe that some of them getting possessed, and people also believe at some point the present time become the hub where the past and the future could collide or could meet in the body of the performers. So it really intriguing for me. It was really intriguing, and I find it very metaphorical in the sense of the perception of time that we had, in a way that past and future, and then also the present time becoming like in the single sphere, in the single time actually. So time is not linear. Time becomes something that is spherical, time becomes something that is circular. And for me, it's very fascinating. In the reversal, this work is centered in the idea of the sugar industry, which was established during the colonial period. So, like you see also in these images, the railroad and then also the sugarcane plantation and the sugar factory, and also even the building where the ghost in the reversal does his makeup. So this whole setting actually connected by the idea of sugar industry. The building was owned originally by the head of a sugar factory in Central Java. Why the sugar become the thing that attract me to dig more is because during this period it has a long-term effect on the Indonesian society. It was revitalized in the dictatorship period, more or less, with a kind of not identical similar, but this leftover is keep being regenerated in the post-colonial context. So in that sense, the sugar and the dependency to sweetness become an entrance for me to really get into the enigma and the labyrinth of the entanglement of the colonial powers. So people deal with this new materiality with the way they see their cosmos actually. And this come also with the rituals. They encounter this with the rituals, it's not merely a tools or instruments to do the production, but it's beyond that. It has its own kind of, they approach it with the spiritual way of seeing also. And then in Terra Incognita, I situated that work as the abstracted index mirror to reversal, because like in reversal, I work with no dialogue, where in Terra Incognita, I work more with poetry, and I work with some kind of quote-unquote interviews, memories, and this kind of contrast in the way I'm working with words and language and text and visual. It's kind of complementary in that sense. So yeah, that's how these two works are simultaneously can be seen as a single body of work. Most of the wounds resulted from the coloniality, resulted from the extreme abuse of power, let's say during the dictatorship, during the colonial period, were unspoken, and those wounds mostly invisible. It's not easily can be seen right on our eyes. So the question was how to make this invisible visible, how to work with these unheard things, And for me, I choose to use this kind of metaphors and to use the more poetic way to express and then to dive into this complex matter. And then I deliberately let the audience to finish and to stitch all of these elements, all of this experience based on their own context, based on their historical baggage. So I don't want to be in the position to dictate how to interpret or how to read my works. The work can be activated by the audience. I really open and welcome for the audience to finish this work in their imagination.